Am I the jerk for buying my neighbor's unofficial parking spot and parking a rusted-out piece of junk there permanently? Here is my story. I've been living in an old 4-story apartment building for about 2 years now. From the very first week I moved in, I became the prime target of Old Man Costel, the ground floor neighbor. This guy is around 60 years old, has the attitude of an absolute dictator over the entire neighborhood, and possesses an incredibly toxic mindset. Even though the parking lot in front of our building is strictly communal, Costel had claimed the absolute best spot, right under his window, perfectly shielded from the sun and falling tree branches. The real issue wasn't that he parked there, it was the fact that he had developed a borderline psychotic obsession with the space surrounding it. If I dared to park in the spot right next to his, or if I happened to grab his spot when he was away, absolute hell broke loose. He would flip my windshield wipers up, spit on my windows, or, his absolute favorite move, park his car directly behind mine, completely trapping me in. Every single time I went downstairs and politely asked him to move his car so I could go to work, he would lean out of his window in his stained undershirt, screaming at the top of his lungs, "Hey, you little punk, I've been living here for 20 years. You young people have zero respect nowadays. I'll teach you where your place is." Sometimes, he would intentionally keep me waiting at the entrance for 20 to 30 minutes, pretending he couldn't find his keys, just to watch me beg him while I was visibly panicking about being late for the office. The last straw. Everything culminated on a Tuesday morning. I had the most important job interview of my professional life scheduled, a management position at a major multinational corporation. It was an opportunity one had been preparing for months. I went downstairs 45 minutes early, wearing a sharp suit, only to discover that Costel had blocked me in again, bumper to bumper. I knocked on his window. He pulled the curtain back, looked at me, smirked, and tapped his wrist, shouting through the closed glass that he was sleeping and didn't have time for my nonsense. I called local parking enforcement, but they told me a crew wouldn't arrive for at least an hour. I was forced to leave my car there and order an Uber, but due to morning rush hour traffic, I arrived exactly 25 minutes late to the interview. Even though the HR managers were polite, I knew instantly I had ruined my first impression. The job went to someone else. The moment I got the rejection email, something snapped inside me. My blind rage instantly cooled into a cold, calculated silence. I didn't want to just argue with him anymore. I wanted to completely break him. The secret legal plot. I went down to City Hall and the Department of Taxes under the pretense of applying for a residential parking permit. Since I had recently bought my apartment, I had every legal right to inquire. To my absolute shock, when the clerk pulled up the digital map of our building's lot, she revealed a crucial piece of information: the spot Costel guarded like a rabid dog didn't belong to him at all. The previous owner of Costel's apartment had leased it back in the 90s, but due to massive unpaid taxes and over a decade of neglected fees, the city had revoked the lease. The spot had recently been put up for public auction. Costel was parking there completely illegally, relying solely on intimidation and neighborhood bullying. The online auction was scheduled for exactly 3 days later. Nobody in the building knew about it. I logged onto the portal and placed my bid. Since nobody else even knew the spot was up for grabs, I won it uncontested for an absolute joke of an annual fee. A few days later, I received the official deed signed and stamped by the city, with my registration details officially locked into the municipal database. But I wasn't just going to park my nice, clean car there. The revenge needed to be poetic. The master stroke. Instead of using the spot for myself, I opened up local used car websites. I searched for the cheapest, most hideous, barely functioning vehicle in the entire county. I found it, a 1998 absolute disaster of a car. It was completely eaten away by rust, the doors were two entirely different colors, the headlights were missing, and the tires were practically flat. I bought it on the spot for the equivalent of $150. The seller was so thrilled to get rid of it that he personally delivered it on a flatbed trailer straight to my building at 5 a.m., while the whole neighborhood was fast asleep. I went downstairs, helped unload the monstrosity, and parked it perfectly, down to the millimeter, right in my newly acquired spot. Inside the front windshield, I taped a clear plastic sleeve containing a color copy of my official city lease, with my name highlighted in bold, right next to a massive sign that read, "Private Property. Do not block. Violators will be immediately towed." The meltdown. At 7:30 a.m., the earthquake hit. I was standing on my balcony with a mug of coffee, completely savoring the moment. Costel walked out of the building, ready to drive off somewhere. When his eyes landed on the rusted, decaying metal carcass parked in his 20-year spot, he looked like he was having a stroke. He started screaming, kicking the flat tires of my junker, and yelling at the top of his lungs that he was calling the police, that this was a conspiracy, and that someone was going to pay. I walked down calmly, wearing my loungewear. The moment he spotted me, he lunged toward me with clenched fists. "Did you put this piece of garbage here? Move this piece of trash off my spot before I smash it to pieces with a crowbar." I gave him a massive smile, pointed to the document in the windshield, and said, "Listen to me carefully, Costel. Check the paperwork. I bought this spot legally from City Hall. This car has valid insurance, the registration tax is paid, and it will be sitting here indefinitely. It is my legal right to park my property here. And if you so much as scratch it or try to block it, local towing is on speed dial. They will haul your car away and hand you a fine that will eat up 3 months of your pension." The man turned pale. He stumbled over to the windshield, read the official city stamp with hands visibly shaking from pure rage, and realized he was utterly powerless. The law was entirely on my side. The aftermath. It's been 2 weeks now. My beautiful, rusted-out junker is sitting proudly right under Costel's window, completely ruining his view and serving as a daily monument to his defeat. Because our neighborhood is extremely congested, he is now forced to park 3 streets away, walking blocks every single day through the rain and heat. Unsurprisingly, this has divided the building. A few of the older tenants have started giving me dirty looks, telling me I showed extreme cruelty and that I should have respected his age, calling me a heartless jerk. On the other hand, the younger tenants, who had also been terrorized by his parking antics for years, now greet me in the hallways like a local hero. Costel mutters threats under his breath every time he sees me, but he doesn't dare touch the car because he knows I installed a security camera in my window pointing directly at the spot. I don't regret a single second, nor a single dime spent on that beautiful piece of junk. He cost me a major career opportunity out of petty, unearned pride. In return, I took away the only thing that gave him power in this neighborhood. So, tell me, am I the jerk?